Let's skip on over and just take the volume down a little bit on the guitar. Let's just, just... Welcome back to another episode of Anderton's TV. And today, myself and Danish Pete are going analog. Yes, ladies and gentlemen,
analog.
We've had enough of all this digital wizardry pokery. We haven't really, but we're going analog because that's what the clever guys at DSM Humboldt, all the way from Chile, in beautiful South America.
It's not chilly in here today, is it?
It's not chilly in here today, no. That's what they do. About this time last year, we launched with the DSM guys this product here called the Humboldt Simplifier 0-watt stereo guitar amplifier.
The humble pie. I was talking about that earlier.
And we were intrigued when we got this because it's kind of like in that territory of the sort of Strymon Iridium and the Walrus ACS1 and all those kind of little devices that you plug a guitar into, and out the other side comes something that sounds like a guitar amplifier. But unlike all the competition, this is totally analog. And it was unbelievably popular and still is.
It still is.
It's regularly out of stock because we just can't get enough to keep up with the demand.
And there's a bass version. Quickly, just to mention, they also brought a bass version. They said not longer than a year ago now. I thought it was like 2 years ago, but I might just be...
Could be.
I mean...
It was definitely pre-COVID, so maybe... I thought it was like early 2020.
Maybe it was.
Maybe it wasn't.
Maybe.
It was 1957.
Yeah, but you know what? If you want to watch the video we did on this, you can click the pop-up banner up there.
He's such a professional.
But we try.
Some of the things that I think we felt using the analog, the original DSM amp, was a sense of a connection that perhaps on some of the digital... Yeah, obviously a romantic connection here, but no, just a sort of a sense that there's an inaudible sense, I think, as a guitar player sometimes when you're using digital equipment, that there's you here, and there's the sound coming out here, and there's just this there's something, like a hair's breadth of something in the middle.
It's a feel thing, man.
Of a disconnect. It sounds good as well. But anyway, really popular. Yeah. So we were very excited when a few weeks ago, the guys from DSM contacted us and said, we're doing a deluxe version. And it's just arrived, and it's basically, it's this bit here. So it's the main unit with all the knobs and buttons on it, plus this little 2-button switch. Comes in a package. It's $3.99, so it's £100 dearer than the mono single one.
Yeah.
But it's got bucket loads. So without going over, well, I will probably go back over what the concept is here. But what you've got then on the DSM now, the Deluxe, is 2 channels, an A and a B channel. Similarly voiced amplifiers, one's a little bit more pushed than the other, but of course you've got all of your switching here about whether you want it to be, whether you want each channel to be either an AC Brit, American sounding or Marshall, and you can elect to go from lead, clean or crunch on each channel. But that's it, so it's 2 channels. You've got some quite handy routing options on here, which makes it a very versatile box. So what we've got it set up at the moment is its simplest mode, which is simply like having a 2-channel amplifier.
Yeah.
You can flick a switch and you can get it into parallel mode, which is still a single input, but it's going through both amps simultaneously, and you can obviously design shape the tone and get 2 different kinds of, one fat sound as if it's 2 different amps.
Yeah.
Or, freaky, you can plug 2 guitars in and literally have one going through one and one going through the other in like a jam if you want to. Features that have come across from the first one, which again now you've got separate for each side. So you've got cabinet emulation options, so combo, stack or twin with a mic position control. You've got a resonance and a presence control, and also a power amp tube emulation switch, so you can switch between KT88 CL34s or 6L6s.
The writing is quite
yeah.
I mean, how many knobs is on that thing there?
If you, through whatever innocent actions that you males may make are slightly short-sighted, then
the ones for you who's getting the COVID vaccine next there's all the ones who can't see anything.
Just be a bit careful, because literally the font size on this is about the smallest it can possibly be.
Yeah.
And there are loads of little dip switches to do things.
Yeah.
But that's because there's no digital editing.
Yeah.
It's like there's no sense that you've got some
USB
sort of a menu on your
anything.
phone and you're trying it's literally, if you want to switch it somewhere, it's live. Somewhere on this crazy little device will be a switch.
I mean, it surprised me how much anyway, I keep looking at that thing going, how is that possible?
Yeah. So what you're hearing here is guitar into a conventional overdrive pedal, which, I'll tell you when I'm switching it on or off, into the input stage of the Simplifier Deluxe, the effects loop, which again can be run either as a mono effects loop, a stereo effects loop, or 2 effects loops, so that when you're, jamming, if you want literally one effect unit going through one amp and a different effect unit going through the other amp, you can do that too. You need some stereo Y cables to do that, but it's all doable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're using just a Boss DD8 delay, 2 XLR outputs straight into our desk. So that's it. No jiggery pokery, no guitar amps were harmed in the making of this infomercial.
It's twice you say jiggery pokery. I think.
Did I?
I think Greg Cox should make a pedal or something called jiggery pokery.
He should copyright that phrase, so every time I say it, I have to pay him.
Oh, it should be a t-shirt.
50 cents. This foot switch here comes included in the price and is you don't have to use it because you've got switches on the side if you would prefer, but this allows you to do your channel A, B and your reverb on and off. So let's go back to channel A, the slightly clean one of the two, and I'll give you some idea of what sort of gain ranges there are and how it sounds in different modes.
And before we start, we'll just ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for more silly videos like this one.
Yes. Right,
please.
So here we are, channel B, the less pushed one, in its American mode and clean mode, with the gain about 12 o'clock, and you can see I've kind of done a little bit of a smiley face EQ, but here it is. And any reverb you're hearing is from the DSM Simplifier Deluxe.
Let's have it. This is a Asset Classic, a Blues Boy with a humbucker in the neck here. American made, so here we go.
Whilst Pete is doing that, I can elect, I've got 3 different kinds of reverb. So again, if I wanted to sort of go kind of a bit more ambient, I could go into its long mode. I should say, this of course is the only digital bit of this pedal. There is no like miniature
reverb tank
Bilbo Baggins style,
or you know, like Harry Potter when he opens up the thing, and the tent is just a massive tent.
But they were at great pains to tell me that the A to D converters they've used were of the highest quality.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that. So there, again, you got some. We were using normally more of a medium reverb in that opening demo, and that's probably where I'll leave it. So you've also got this kind of cool spread feature. We've got it off at the moment, so the 2 amps aren't hard panned, like, you know, big left and right kind of hard pan.
Yeah.
But if I switch it on, it kind of applies this sort of much heavier panning to the signal, and you get this slightly different tone like this. That's more pronounced when we're in parallel mode and you've got two different amp each side.
Yes.
So, well, I'll come back to that. Gosh, you've got so many things here. You've got an auxiliary in, you've got a headphone. You could use this as a headphone.
So you can put a little MP3 player. Oh,
Yeah,
how old am I?
yeah.
You can put a CD player in there, Lee, and headphones out.
You've got jack outputs here where you can switch the cabinet emulation off if you want to use this kind of...
With your own IR loader.
Crazy, man.
I'm seeing this underneath a pedal board with the two jacks out to the front of house guy and just that little thing on top, you know.
I thought this would be popular when it came in, but
Yeah.
I didn't think it
It's
would be...
so popular.
I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of these.
Yeah.
So actually, what's probably quite good about that is you can dive onto the Andertons website, and if you find this page, all the reviews will be genuine reviews from people who've bought one of these from Andertons. So
Yeah.
there you are. Oops. Okay,
It's
so
alive, that thing, isn't it?
let's go over to now, still on channel B, so the cleaner one. Let's go over to an AC mode. And actually, no, I tell you what, so I do apologise. I'm going to stay in the American mode, but I'm just going to move to the crunch mode.
Please do apologise.
Yeah. So, as you can...
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Even more. We can go AC mode and back to clean. Now, of course, you've got to remember to do all this stuff. In the power amp section now, I've obviously gone onto AC mode. Now, there isn't an EL84 mode, but we could switch to something like EL34s. We could change the speaker cabinet emulation to a 2-speaker rather than a... We could gain it up a bit.
It's got that hollow, that pocket sound.
Absolutely could dump your drive pedal in, so if you wanted more, I don't know, we'd try and use this almost like a top boosty kind of vibe.
Go off, take it off first so we can hear.
I kind of think it's little things like this that people, they're much more comfortable with the idea of putting analog overdrive pedals into an analog device rather than worrying that, oh no, if I go into a digital front end, will it react as well? So anyway.
But that's the whole thing, isn't it, with the AD converters? They have to be good enough to take the punch and punishment of...
On a digital product.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
mean?
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
I always, anyway. So, okay, then we've got an MS Brit sound.
What happened there?
I just dumped the gain lot, not
All right.
from the pedal, just we're now in its lead mode.
With some delay on, please. It feels nice. It feels good,
real,
and we listen to speakers in here, and it's always a little bit underwhelming. Not always, but it can get a little underwhelming listening to studio speakers and guitar. I've spoken to a few people, friends of mine, who does during lockdown a lot of home lessons for people and stuff, and it's not really inspiring all the time. This is great. I mean, I definitely feel the tone coming out of this. You know, it's important to be inspired to play your stuff.
I'm not going to run through too much on channel A because it is fundamentally a very similar channel, just with a bit more gain in it. Obviously, the idea is you set the two channels up completely independently, so you know you can choose AC Brit, American, or MS Brit, and the clean, crunch, or lead mode independently for each channel.
Yeah.
As well as the cabinet and power amp emulation as well is all independent for each channel. So let's just maybe see what a couple of the what is the sort of the pushed the pushed clean tones like out of channel A. I'll just literally jump straight to the sort of the more martially.
Get down, take the gain down slightly on that.
Great.
It does.
What was that? Something fell off the speaker.
Oh my God! It likes it. It likes it.
Okay, so
Sounds good, man.
Next,
I'm
I'm
impressed.
going to switch this to its parallel mode. So, although the red light will stay on channel A, what we're actually doing now is hearing both amps simultaneously. So we're in parallel mode now. So one guitar input. I've disconnected the effects loop purely and simply because now that we're using parallel mode, it needs a stereo input on the effects loop as well, which I haven't got the cable for, but hey ho. So I've disconnected the delay pedal. So now all you're hearing is guitar going into the light speed, into the simplifier, and running through both amps simultaneously.
Yeah.
And I haven't got the spread mode in, so there's a little bit of a pan, but if I hit the spread mode in, there'll be much more of a pan. And you can basically hear now, I've got one side set to the American crunch tone and the other side set to a British crunch tone, and with much the same levels of gain, but then I've got the American side coming out of a actually I've got that the wrong way around, sorry, I wanted it that way around. So I've got the American side coming out of a 212 and the British side coming out of a 412, and I've got the American side on 6L6s and the British side on EL34s. Woo! Anyway, I might have a fiddle around while Pete's playing
All
and
with
switch
just
some different
switches.
things.
All with switches.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds great, man.
Sounds good.
I like that. I like this guitar as well. It's a good guitar.
I'm going to put the spread mode on now. What's a classic guitar amp combination, Pete? Is it Marshalls and Voxes?
It's a Marshall and Vox, isn't it?
Okay, we'll do
You'll have
Marshall,
a little
Vox,
slightly cranked
still
and a
both
Marshall.
crunchy. Let's change the Vox also to. Oh no, we'll leave the Vox as a 212. It's just this, but we'll change the. Right, okay, we've changed the tubes around a little bit here. Okay, so this is now, again, basically what a Marshall and a Vox. Super loud. It sounds great. I'm going to change it all now to we'll do something much cleaner and maybe a bit more ambient. And what we'll have is one amp a little bit more pushed than the other. But they're both kind of, maybe we'll just try different types of, we'll have one out of a combo and one out of a two. I mean, it's like, you can literally, I love the fact that you can kind of do whatever you like it. And I'll bump the reverb up a little bit, maybe put the spread on a bit more.
Spread only, spread on.
Spread it on like butter.
Butter?
Okay, here we go.
Spread it like butter.
See what they say. This is complete random playing. It might sound terrible. I find that very pleasant to listen to.
It's nice.
A little bit of a criticism. All the switches are, not all of them, the switches tend to pop.
Yeah, and they're tiny, aren't they, as well? So
yeah, I don't mind that so much. It's just I think you definitely don't want to be. These switches are fine. These don't seem to pop, or do they? No, they don't pop. The reverb does a bit of a.
I think because there's trails on it, so if it's still rolling over and you put it off and on,
the switches themselves on the top here will pop through the signal chain. So I don't think the idea is to change any of the switches like while you're recording.
But isn't that a thing with analog stuff? When you do something to it, it makes you're switching a circuit to another circuit, right?
Yeah. So look, I mean, I really did. I thought there's something very pleasant to listen to here. Yeah. I like it a lot. It's again, I'm surprised, really, in the sense of, I think nowadays you sort of go, if you want to do something analog, which is going to have bucket loads of relays and switches and components in there versus doing everything off of a chip, you'd kind of think this should be way more expensive than a digital alternative, but it's very competitive. It's the same kind of price as Iridium or Firebox or,
And they all got USB things and you have to log on and you can do all this stuff. I prefer that.
It's definitely two different customers, isn't it? And I think we said the same with this. There's somebody out there who's going to go, thank goodness someone's done this kind of product, and I don't need a computer, and I don't need Bluetooth, and I don't,
USB plugs, and I don't need a laptop. I can just plug into it.
Yeah, it's very comfortable, old-fashioned technology. And there'll be other people going, it's not MIDI, and where are my, 57? Where's my IR loader and all that kind of stuff. So I get it, but. I think that's great. I really do.
I like 7 3/4 inch radius and
yeah. Let's
it's the same people.
finish. Let's finish
Danish.
with.
That's Danish.
Are you Danish? Are you
Let's
Finnish?
finish.
I thought you were Dutch. So anyway, so to just literally finish up here, I will switch it into its 2-guitar mode. Again, we're not going to use the effects loop. Just going to literally stereo cable in here. The 2 ends of the stereo cable. One will be Pete's guitar, one will be mine, and
we'll jam out.
We'll just jam out. But this is very cool. I don't know, by the time this video goes out, I don't think we'll have received our first batch yet, but they're probably on their way. The guys from DSM have said we're going to get these sort of first half of May 2021. Yeah, all the way from Chile. How cool is that?
Yeah, I've been to Chile. It's a lovely place.
I'd love to go.
It's great.
South America generally.
Santiago, isn't it? And then you've got the cable car that goes up from the city, so you can look all over there. It's a beautiful place. Beautiful place.
I don't know. It looks cold in the south and warm in the north.
Well, you have to fly over the Andes, the mountains.
Right.
So you fly down South America. You fly over the. Is it Andes there? You fly over. It's the craziest thing.
Right. Well, there you go. This is the new travel show that Pete and I where I say I've never been anywhere, and Pete tells us all about his tour.
2 very boring minutes later.
Let's jam out, Lee. Come on.
Let's jam out, Pete.
Yeah, let's do it.